Hi everybody, my name is Cole McAvoy and I am the owner of the RhythmWorks Drum Studio, and today I thought I would give you a basic drum lesson. Okay, so let's start with the parts of the drum set. Right in front of me here, between my legs, I have the snare drum. Up in front here, tom-toms, also known as mounted tom-toms. Bottom here, another tom-tom, considered the floor tom-tom. Okay, down below, the bass drum. To my side, we have the hi-hat, crash cymbals, splash cymbal. Okay, and on the far right over here, we have the ride cymbal. Okay. Okay. So, what we're going to start with, a lot of my students ask me, how to get started. So that's what we're going to do. So let's talk about first, basically just how to hold the drumstick. I find that, very simply, between your thumb and your forefinger, fingers loosely over the palms, palms facing down, so is the floor, very natural, okay? Now, and we call this matched grip because both grips are matched, very common, okay? Another grip is called traditional, okay? And this was used primarily it's used by jazz drummers, but they did not invent it. Actually, it was developed from marching drummers many years ago, hundreds of years ago, and because the drum was hanging on its side, so you really couldn't play the drum like this, so you had to play it like this. So, and they still do it today, and it's a great way to play the drums, but you lose a lot of power. So for finesse, jazz, mostly jazz heads use it. But when we're playing funk and rock and all sorts of things, I don't know. I don't really get into too much of what should be. There's what is and what sounds good and what feels good, basically. Okay, so when we hit the drum, we want to make sure that we let it bounce. And I know you really can't see it right there, but you can kind of hear it. You can kind of get the idea. Okay, we want to bang the drum, let it bounce, hold on with our hands a little bit. We're going to keep our palms towards the floor, this kind of thing. Okay? Easy. Okay, so let's talk about our bass drum, okay? Two different styles. The first one is heel down, okay? Very traditional, which means we keep your heel down on the bass drum pedal and kind of push with your toes, okay? Two different styles of playing. One is referred to as the John Bonham bass drum, where you're basically playing the open, letting that bass drum beater bounce off the drum, so it's not muffling it, okay? But that is also a way to play drums too. Again, jazz, okay? Sometimes you want to muffle your bass drum. Foot heel down, okay, is going to give you less power. Now, there's another one we call heel up, which is basically, and traditionalists will tell you that it's really not a great way to play, but again, what feels good, what sounds good, what's in time, we want to enjoy ourselves. Okay, so we call it heel up, and what we do is we basically lift our knee up and our heel, and it's kind of a messy little thing, but it works quite well, and it gives you a lot more power, and you're pushing down with the beater with the ball of your foot, okay, onto the pedal plate, pushing down with the ball of your foot, bam, gives you lots of power, okay? Okay, so once we practice this a bit, okay, we want to go back and forth, right, left, okay? Just kind of nice and slow. Get a feel for the drum. Okay, so it's important to note here that we should count a little bit, and the first counting, the first reading that you'll understand in basic music, probably quarter notes. They make the most sense, and without getting too deep into theory, basically we count quarter notes: 1, 2, 3, 4. They're called quarter notes because they divide a whole note. Okay, 4 parts of a whole, 4 quarters. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. But for our purposes, simply starting out, we just want to go right, left, or left, right. If you happen to be a lefty, and we want to count. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we get comfortable with that. We want to move on, and basically we really want to add this bass drum in, because the bass drum, when we're doing rudiments and we're learning timing and counting, basically it becomes our own metronome. So if we can just keep the bass drum rolling along, nice and even time here, get used to that for a while, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to match our drumsticks hitting on the snare drum with our bass drum, okay? We're going to okay? And every time you count the 4 beats, it's considered a measure, okay? There's a bar line, all right? But in your head, 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice and simple. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? And right now, you don't have to worry about working with a metronome. I don't know if you heard of what a metronome is, some kind of clicking device. They have them on keyboards. Electronic drum sets have them built in. Okay, as you get more comfortable with the drums, we start to move towards a metronome. I don't think it's something you want to use right up front. Okay, okay. So we have our quarter notes. Okay, and what we want to do next is we want to talk about eighth notes. And basically, we're going to divide the quarter notes again into eighth notes, which will give us 8 notes in the same space of one measure. But without the quarter notes, the eighth notes don't make any sense, and vice versa. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to keep the bass drum rolling like this. And I'm going to give you an example of the eighth notes, and then discuss it further, okay? So first we're going to start with the quarter notes, nice and simple. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to add the eighth notes. Okay, very simple, all right? If you're a little confused at first, just basically keep your bass drum rolling along here, okay? And think of this as a quarter note, and you're going to add the eighth note in between. So the right hand is matching the bass drum. 3, 4, 1, very simple. It's a great exercise. It's a great way to get started, and it'll blossom into all sorts of things. So what we can do, because you can only do that for so long. Okay, I've done this and done that. Okay, so we can move our eighth notes over to playing on all 4 drums. In this case, I have 4 drums up on top. Okay, and what we can do, if we get this bass drum rolling along, okay, first, actually to warm up, what we can do is just put 2 beats on each drum. Sounds like this, okay? And what we want to do is we want to think of those as the eighth notes again. So not the quarter notes where we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, but the eighth notes where we're counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? We'll put 2 beats on each drum and then just continue playing around and around, okay? It's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, let your sticks bounce. Don't worry too much about form. Just hold on to your sticks. Kind of pinch with your thumb and your finger. Kind of try to put your palms towards the floor a little bit and let the sticks bounce. Okay? And once you're comfortable with that, we want to add that bass drum back in there because that's our timekeeper. That's helping with our coordination all around. Keeps us nice and steady. We don't want to speed up. We don't want to slow down. 3, 4. Over and over again. I suggest 3 to 5 minutes. on each exercise before moving on. And there's a lot of ways to move these eighth notes around. We can go the opposite way, which is great. We can mix them up a bit. Okay, eighth notes, very important. So let's review. We have our quarter notes and our eighth notes. And the way we start off, keep our bass drum rolling along. Quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back and forth on the snare. Match your snare drum to your bass drum. Play an eighth note. We simply double the time, okay? Quarter notes, eighth notes. Quarter notes, 2, 3, 4, eighth notes. Okay, quarter notes and eighth notes. That's pretty much what we have for our first lesson, okay? You can do a lot with that. You really can. And you can move all your hands. You can start to experiment with the cymbals a little bit. But really what's important is learn how to use that bass drum. And that can take a little while. You know, it takes a little while. Your foot's constantly sliding up on the pedal. Okay, just in the beginning, just make it go. And then as we get a little bit farther in, what we'll start to do is really work on the technique of the bass drum and how to use our feet. Of course, I have a double bass drum pedal, okay, which allows me to have 2 beaters on the bass drum, both feet. It takes a little time to make that work and sound good in live playing situations, but it is something you want to check into. All right, well, I guess we have it covered here for our first basic lesson. I'm Cole McAvoy. This is Rhythm Works. I teach guitar, bass, and drums here in North Idaho. And you can give me a call at the number at the bottom of the screen, or you can email me at the email address at the bottom of the screen. Okay, rock on, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.